everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides. This book takes place in the 1980s and you are following three characters as they finish off college and sort of move on into their young adult lives. There are three characters that you follow. There is Madeline, who is an English major, there is Leonard, who is a biology major, and there is Mitchell, who is a theology major. Madeline and Leonard are dating each other, but Mitchell is thoroughly convinced that he and Madeline are meant to be. You basically just follow them throughout their lives. You also get flashbacks into other parts of their lives, pre-college and also during college, and then you follow them out of college and you get to see all of them sort of grow up a little bit. This is a book that I definitely have mixed feelings about, but overall positive feelings about. This is a book with multiple perspectives. You follow all three characters through various parts of the book, which is something that I'm kind of feeling a little bit tired of. I feel like there are a lot of books that came out recently that all are multiple perspective stories, and I don't really like them all that much because there's generally one perspective that I prefer sticking with, and then when I'm with the other perspectives I tend to be a little bit bitter that I'm not with the perspective that I prefer. So I feel like in general I end up liking stories a little bit less when they are multiple perspective stories, and I feel like this is just a trend in literary fiction right now, which is one that I am ready to be done with. That being said, the perspective in this book that I preferred, or the character that I liked the most, was Leonard. I felt like he was the most interesting character out of the three. Mitchell came off as the most whiny, and Madeline just felt underdeveloped. The reason why this is called The Marriage Plot is because both Jeffrey Eugenides and the characters in this book are questioning whether or not the marriage plot, which is sort of the idea of marriage being the central role of a novel, as in Jane Austen books, for example, whether or not that's relevant anymore, especially with the rise of feminism and with women being more self-sufficient and not needing to rely on marriage quite so much. There is just this question of whether or not that's relevant, and that's sort of explored in this book, but I feel like that wasn't really the main focus of the book. I feel like you're just following these characters as they're growing up, and romance happens to be an aspect of it, which I think is something I actually liked. I don't like books that are too mushy, and I couldn't imagine Jeffrey Eugenides getting too mushy. The thing I love the most about this book is the writing style. I think Jeffrey Eugenides is an amazing writer, and he really pulled me into the story. While I was reading this book, I was absolutely drawn into the story. I didn't want to put it down, and anytime I was forced to put it down, I kept thinking about the story afterwards. There would be times where I would read this during my lunch break, and then for the rest of the afternoon at work, I would just keep thinking about the story and the characters and wondering where it was going to go, and it kind of just put a spell on me over the couple of days that it took me to finish this book, which is not something that happens very often and is very much a testament to the way that Jeff Eugenides writes. There are lots of problems that I had with this book that more had to do with the overall plot and character development or lack thereof within this story. I feel like the reason why I loved it so much was more about the writing, and the reasons why I didn't like it had to do with the characters and plot, which I feel like this is just not the best story I've been told. There are also aspects of this book that felt like upper white class first world problems type complaining, which is kind of one of my least favorite things, and so anytime that aspect was taking place, I was just rolling my eyes and not really into it. Even though, you know, the story draws me in, I can still not be super satisfied with it, which is again why I said I had really mixed feelings about this book. Overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I really like it, and I understand why people love Jeffrey Eugenides, but he hasn't quite become someone that I can say I absolutely loved his work. I haven't read The Virgin Suicides yet, which a lot of people say is his best, but I have read Middlesex, and I remember reading Middlesex in college and thinking similar thoughts about the writing style versus the actual story. So that just might be something where I just don't click with his stories, but I love his writing. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Marriage Plot. If you have read this book, feel free to leave your comments down below letting me know what you guys have thought of it, or if you've read any of Eugenides' other works, feel free to talk about that stuff down below without getting too spoilery. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.